Amanda, freedom is coming away too. Amanda, freedom is coming away too. Amanda, the EFFL is here away too. Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you. To all national leaders, please have a seat. All national leaders, please have a seat. Thank you. All national leaders, please have a seat. I'm overly grateful this morning once again to stand before members of the Central Revolutionary Council, the governing council, ground forces of our party, the defenders of the revolution, to present our party's official position on the fight against drugs and as well as many issues in Liberia. Everyone in the body politics of Liberia knows exactly what the economic freedom fighters of Liberia stand for. We have never been the cowardly institution since our formation. We intend going forward not to be a cowardly institution. We will speak, as I said in the last press conference, from now to 2029, the EFFL will make it of its very basic giving statements that reflect the joy of our people and the aspiration of our people. We will no longer sit back and watch people with no histories of leadership in 2023 to govern our country. To once again repeat, I started my struggle for when our nation was at a critical role because we knew from day one that Brother George Weah would not have provided a better leadership for Liberia. We started supporting President Bouaka with the hope that given his extensive experience in governance and government, he would have taken a bold step to lead our country into the future we collectively deserve. While we were struggling to ensure that our party become a registered political parties in Liberia, in 2023 we became an official political party, and it is no doubt and no secret that we supported with all of our might the current government. And that we are officially aligned members of the government. But as we said a few weeks ago in another press conference, and thank God when the entire drug bust occurred, we were the first political organization to have called a massive press conference to inform the public that only Jesus Christ could convince us that big hands were not involved in the smugglings of drugs in our country. Today, the government is overwhelmed with that reality that big hands are involved in smuggling drugs in our country with clear intent to enrich themselves at the detriment of the poor people. Today, the police director himself is now confirming that big stick actors are involved. Have we not spoken to say that big hands were involved in the moving drugs on the shore of Liberia? Perhaps by now the government would.
Very good. What make it very good? See another plant down and drink it, to free the waste, the journey, to clean the back, to to active west. People say Branta can be used mainly for knocking. That knocking they talk about a war. What Branta as a whole when you take it. What you say Branta knocking at a war? A war. Most of the children are in the club now, at the Branta the children with. Okay. When they treat a Branta, you're going to be knocking the tomorrow morning, say, I say knocking, no coming down. When you very strong. So when you take.
Today, do you think your leader will be free today? Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Today, Pragi will not be free. Pragi will not be free. Based on the information presented to all through our legal team, they said that the publication or the ruling from the Supreme Court, it says that we should publish, three daily newspaper for 5 consecutive days. So we reached out to so many newspapers, and then including From Africa and New Republic. These are 2 platforms that carry the news consecutively for 5 days. So, according to the ruling of the Supreme Court, also state that you have to get widely circulated newspapers, and the widely circulated newspapers in this country are not carrying the information regularly. That is, the widely circulated newspapers in this country are not carrying, they are not reported daily. That is, some of them take Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, based on the advice from our council, before engaging, he said that we should go to Labrador investigator. That is, Nina Dulu. So we reach out to these people. They carry the news Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Later on, the council said no. The Supreme Court said that it will not be only one news, news platform. It should be 3 news platform in 5 days. So due to time, while engaging 1 or 2 persons, due to time, so we fall short of the line. That is, we have one more outstanding platform that need to publicate the news for 5 days. That is, they started today, tomorrow, and we'll continue on the Wednesday. Then the prophet will be coming out next week. So
by Wednesday, I see you with your wife. What exactly the
I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me Mr. Journalist, I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now. And I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war? Tell me, we got major headlines. Oh, we got major story. There is no job, no money for hustlers. We got major headlines. We got major story. There is no job, no money for hustlers. Come take our coverage, the rainy season coming soon. In the ghetto, all the houses are full of leakage, nowhere to sleep. Come and see the widow, living in the street with her children. Since the daddy went to war to fight, he never lived to see them. The children have no shelter, oh, children have no education. The children have no one to call their friend. The children have no food to eat. We got major headlines. Oh, we got major stories.
we got major headlines in your area, and major headlines are here across Liberia. Again, we like to say good evening, wherever you joining us from. It's our distinct pleasure to welcome all of you to the round table to this wonderful presentation here on Wizz TV. We are live on Wizz TV, on Facebook, on YouTube as well, and you can follow us and be able to get all of these important conversation that matters the most. Again, my name is William McGill. Today is Thursday, and what is it? We are going to give our own analysis into the situation there from what we witnessed today as the public in general expected Justin Opa to be released from the Monrovia Central prison, and that's exactly the information we got. And basically, we just going to give our own analysis and basically talk about okay, my bad. Talk about what we think and how things uh, was at the prison today. We'll also bring you our news from across the BBC and as well as today in history. In little time, we will dive into have a social conversation in terms of the most talk about brand tap. Stay tuned. Let's take this as we will be right back.
No job, no money, no gas, no glory, no help for poor man. That's what we know. We are millions, we are millions stories. There is no job.
Welcome back to the round table. It's a great pleasure to be back here on your radio and on your screen rather. Uh, it's OZ, yeah, radio station. Yeah, brother, no problem. Okay, so what is it? Let's run into the BBC quickly and bring you to our news from across the British Broadcasting Corporation, mainly focusing on the continent Africa. And we have presidential pardon for French alleged spy accused of plotting Mali coup. France is yet to comment on Yam Venzeli's pardon and previously called the accusation unfounded. Zambians voting as president bids for second term. Akandi Aliman wants 5 more years, but continuing cost of living pressure have detained his appeal. Still here on the BBC, Tanzanian rangers arrested as police investigate death in national park. And it says here rights groups have long raised concerns about alleged human rights violation in Ngorongoro. And French ambassador to the Central African Republic is accused of misconduct at official resident faces disciplinary action. So the accusation against Bruno Francher prompted investigation into potential security breach. Those are things we have here on the BBC, mainly focusing on Africa. Let's now bring you out today in history. Today in history, August 13, 1960, the Central African Republic, declared independence from France. And August 13 today is observed as the country's Independence Day. Today in history, August 13, 1961, East Germany closed the border between East and West Berlin and began constructing what became the Berlin Wall. The wall would divide Berlin for nearly 3 decades and become one of the most powerful symbols of Cold War. Today in history, August 13, 1889, a patent for a coin-operated telephone was issued on August 13, 1889, an invention that helped make public telephone access commercially practical. Today in history, uh, August 13, 1918, Oprah Mae Johnson became the first woman to enlist in the U.S. Marine Corps. She was assigned as a clerk at Marine Corps headquarters. Let's now bring you our quote for the day here on Wizz TV. August 13 has witnessed independence movements and the construction of Berlin walls, major scientific and military developments, and historical movements in entertainment. If you could go back and witness one event from August 13 in history, which one will you choose and why? Uh, that's exactly it. Uh, yeah. So again, we'd like to say thanks to all of you for coming on. Let's listen to uh this individual. Currently, he's the one managing Prophet Key uh social media, and this is what he had to say today to journalists that went at the Monrovia Central praising. And just listen to this before we dive into the conversation here tonight.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Today, Pragi will not be free. Let me put the news here. Yeah. Why the chairman will not be free? Yeah, Pragi will not be free. Based on the information presented to all through our legal team, they said that the publication or the ruling from the Supreme Court, it says that we should publish, three daily newspaper for 5 consecutive days. So we reached out to so many newspapers, and then including From Africa and New Republic. These are 2 platforms that carry the news consecutively for 5 days. So, according to the ruling of the Supreme Court, also state that you have to get widely circulated newspapers. And the widely circulated newspapers in this country are not carrying the information regularly. That is, the widely circulated newspapers in this country are not carrying, they are not reporting daily. That is, some of them take Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, based on the advice from our council, when we fight engaging, he said that we should go to Labrador investigator. That is, Nina Duru. So we reach out to these people. They carry the news Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Later on, the council said no. The Supreme Court said that it will not be only one news platform. It should be 3 news platform in 5 days. So due to time, why engaging 1 or 2 persons, due to time, so we fall short of the line. That is, we have one more outstanding platform that need to publicate the news for 5 days. That is, they started today, tomorrow, and will continue on the Wednesday. Then the prophet will be coming out next week.
So by Wednesday, I see you with Prophet wife. What exactly the wife of Prophet doing here?
But you see, I'm a Prophet son, so when you see Prophet wife with me and me, I will kill those people.
Can we talk to her?
No.
How do you feel extending the time of Prophet Key? How do you feel?
I feel as usual.
What is Prophet saying to you?
Well, let me respond to this man. The man asked me how great home and the release of the prophet today, coming out with different story. How do you think your followers, the followers of Prophet Key will feel today? Yeah, but you have to manage your situation because we all expected Prophet Key to be free on the 13th. But when you look at the Supreme Court ruling, they said pre-condition to release Prophet Key. The ruling said that they should publish 5 behavior
You listen to him, and like I said, he's the one managing the social media accounts of Mr. Justin Opa Yezie, uh, popular known as Prophet Key. So, Prophet Key was being sentenced by the Supreme Court of Liberia on the 13th of February 2026. And he was sentenced to 6 months imprisonment, and that runs up to the 13th of August. And exactly 6 months period. On yesterday, a social media account posted about his release. And basically, when they did post about the release of Mr. Justin Opai Yezie, a lot of people in the public had it in mind that Mr. Yezie Prophet Key was basically going to be released from the Monrovia Central Prison. I want us to take it easy, and we will go in depth with these things gradually, and then we can be able to understand how these things works. Right now, the sentence, there were release conditions attached before being released. There were conditions attached. So Justin Opayeze was brought to the full bench of the Supreme Court of Liberia following his statement he made publicly, including remarks directed at the Chief Justice Yami Kwekwegbese and the judiciary. And the Supreme Court cited him to appear and show cause why he should not be held in contempt, which he couldn't do. And the proceeding followed allegations that he had made sustained no, he had made sustained an offensive public statement against the Chief Justice and members of the Supreme Court, including accusation concerning the integrity of the judiciary. Right. So these are things that they say. According to a report on February proceeding, Propakita appeared before the full bench, and he acknowledged making offensive statement and express remorse. Like, oh yeah, I actually did it, but I'm sorry, and I won't do it again. And then, in as much as he did say that in front of the full bench on February 13th, we witnessed February 13th, 2026, we witnessed the Supreme Court ruling finding him guilty of contempt and imposed a 6 month custodial sentence. So you will go to jail for 6 months, and because of your behavior, you will stay in prison for 6 months. And afterward, when you get out, you will come and apologize to the general public, to the Supreme Court as well, and to women who you must have insulted during your time you was working with impunity. And he was taken to the Monrovia Central Prison, like we said, February 13th. And these are things, right? Let's look at few things in this before we go in depth. So let's look at few things in this, right? The the issue here about his apologies, that's he needed to write an apologies letter of apologies to the Supreme Court, right? he needed to write an apologies, letter of apologies, which we saw it was published on his social media. He needed to publish his letter of apologies in three local widely newspaper, widely read or widely read newspaper that the public can be able to see, that the public will be able to see your apologies, not just the public, but the Supreme Court. Which, if you listen to the video we played earlier from the guy who managed his social media, tells you that they try to reach out to some institutions, and at the end of the day, they couldn't get media institution newspaper that normally publish within the 5 days period. So some people will publish Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Some people will definitely publish per whatever time they desire or they see fit for their operations. That is it. But again, the thing about it is, if you have your counsel, your legal team that handles the case, I think uh, the social media account of Mr. Opa Yazir was as fast as it was, by releasing information pertaining his release. So now the information given to us by the individual who manage the social media accounts of Prophet Key says the publication for the one more newspaper to reach the number to three newspapers will ends on Wednesday of next week, which again they are optimistic that he will be released from prison. The thing about it is, I think this whole issue should be able to teach Prophet Key a lot of lessons, to be able to give him the understanding of how to approach issues, not just, you know, speaking your mind, but uh, being able to speak your mind in a very right way. I think it's not just about the situation for the Supreme Court. I think it's also about knowing that you've been doing wrong with your level of, you know, podcast style on social media. But again, we waited up to 4 o'clock, and we couldn't see Mr. Yeziel leaving the Monrovia Central Prison. And we are also hopeful that on Wednesday, again, we can be able to see that he will be released if all of the requirements are met. If all of the requirements are met. So I'm saying this to say that basically, sometimes we have to be, you know, okay, Francis. I wish we can be able to understand the fact that these things are essential. But let me see how best I can bring Francis on. Yeah, I hope Francis will get on through the link. And yeah, like I said, right? So sometimes It's the fact that we have to do the right thing and not just doing the right thing, but being able to understand how these things goes. It's essential as well. It's important, right? It's important. It's really, really important. So, also, quickly, we saw the Economic Freedom Portal of Liberia on today. But let's see if we can get Francis on, and then we can talk about the EFFL before we get into our social discussion because we do have limited time. But I'm sure that Francis wants to come on and join us to talk about the issue today. I'm just very hopeful that we can have him on, and then basically we can move on. But again, like I said, right, these things are legal proceeding. The legal system will always do its best and make sure that you as an individual follow the right procedure. It's not just it's not just about that. It's also about doing the right thing. Okay, I think Francis is on. Let's have Francis for a couple of minutes and then we can. Good evening, Francis, and welcome to the program tonight.
Yes, William, let me say thanks for having me and thanks to your audience as well. Thanks so much. Thanks so kindly for having me on.
You've been able to witness the situation today. What do you think about the outcome of the situation there at the Monrovia Central Prison in terms of uh Prophet Key posting about his release, and all of a sudden we didn't witness his release, and it's been postponed to probably next Wednesday if all goes right.
Yeah, so as we all, including you and myself, were schools of journalists, we were, on grounds at the entrance, posted at the entrance of the commonly known as South Beach in Liberia. We did a bill from the morning hour up to 9:30, 9:40, and what we did not see is that we did not see any communication team from the central prison who will give us actual and factual information regarding to uh, the release of Prophet Key as should have been held today according to his own official that's Facebook page. But we were posted because of being eager for the news. We were posted and we waited. And later again by two, we started another live, thinking that Prophet King could have been released maybe at a later date, but to no avail. We did not see the prophet coming out. And again, we got the info from one of his legal men that the main reason was that, according to the proceeding from the, the Chief Justice and Prophet King should have, file or post on three local daily newspaper 5 days in a row. But instead, some of these daily newspaper don't work 5 days effectively. Some of them work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Some of them work Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. So it could have been, let's say it should have been straight 5 days in a row, which of course they did it with two local daily newspaper, and they did not include the last newspaper as he told reporters that left on ground. So these are situation that led to the prophet not being released on today. But again, the assurance was given that the 5 days will start on today. It started on today and up to I think next week Wednesday. The assurance was given, like I said, that the prophet will be released after the 5 days should have been completed. So this was a situation that we experienced. And even though we gave update to our viewers, our listeners, but again, we as reporters somehow felt frustrated by the number of time we wasted over there. But again, that's the struggle. That's what we signed off to do. So the prophet will be
You
released
you
next
you
Friday.
went you went to see the prophet being released now. You waste your time. So quickly, Francis, do you think before we let you go, do you think Prophet Key social media account was as fast as the poster about his release, knowing fully well that all of the commitments weren't fulfilled in full?
Yeah, so there is something we call PR as journalists or public relation, as the public call it. If you do these things, and you understand the basis of them, you don't just be, so fast in a simple labyrint way, to release information. You have to do your fast checking, your background check, get some evidences or evidence, as you may call it, before doing the post. As if he was following, because I believe it was not Prophet Key that had been, controlling the page. If he was actually following, following the proceeding from the Supreme Court, I do believe that he is aware that they did not meet all of those criteria that could have led to the prophet being released today. And relative to the daily report, that's a daily newspaper posting consecutive 5 days. So again, I believe he never understood the basis. That's why he was so fast. But again, the prophet being sentenced to prison on the 13th of February 2026, and then today making it exactly 6 months. I believe that that was the angle from which he did his posting, even though assurance was given to them from the Supreme Court that it should have been today, but the last and foremost request was not met. That's the reason I led to the prophet still being in prison up to today's date.
Much, Francis. Thanks for coming on tonight. We appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah. Quickly before I leave you, William, uh, per information I'm gathering, from the Ministry of Information chat room where form part of. The President of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr., will on tomorrow 10 a.m. visit the premises of the Ministry of Information. So that's a breaking news for staffers and workers of the Ministry of Information, as the President will officially visit the premises of the ministry on tomorrow. So let me say thanks for having me.
Is
And
is
tomorrow
is
morning,
is the quickly, is the president going to speak to the media, or it's just a visit to see how the ministry is being run by
yeah,
Minister Jeremy Pia?
yeah. So that I can really confirm if he's going to. But the press were the reporters assigned there were invited. Uh, that we should be there,
Okay.
on time 8 p.m. Yeah, but again, we have been told on several occasions that the minister was trying his best, to make the president to tour the facility, because the facility that have been refurbished, all of those the past regime before past, all of those building things, some of them were demolished and stuff like that. The ministry is rebranded, so it's a refurbished Ministry of Information. So I believe the touring aspect he's been talking about is what actually the president will be doing. But I cannot confirm that. But again, the press were invited, the reporters assigned at the Ministry of Information were invited. So I believe the president will have a remark to say to the press if he faces on tomorrow.
Thank you, Francis, for coming on. We hope to follow up with your report on tomorrow. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you, William. Thank you for having me.
Francis Collet is our Mikart reporter there joining us on the program tonight. So quickly, right? Let's talk about this. The Cortington Alumni Association in the Americas is definitely having their back to school reunion. Starts tomorrow to the 16th, and series of activities going to be happening. Like they will have a reunion vendor trunk sale for $100, and there's a lot on the screen. You have Miss Africa Foundation, LIBvibes.com, EDC, and there's a lot of other things. We also do have this what you call it, the events, right? Saturday they will have assembly business meeting 1 p.m. Eastern time, Zoom that in, and the instruction will be provided. Rooftop evening, even 101 Park at N Hills Scene, and 80s theme meet and greet 6 p.m. 5265 Capitol Boulevard is the vendor event, and a lot of different things gonna be happening there with the CUA. Now, one thing about let me just play these videos that I got right quickly before we end the show tonight. I won't go social. Leave your comment if you watch these videos, and we start the conversation. What the what? What you know about this?
We want Branta. No Branta, no peace. We want Branta. No Branta, no peace. But Bugger, like your thing where you on. We say we catch drugs. We say we arrest drugs dealer then. We didn't tell you say you can papa your own too good for to be president with a parent there. Don't play with anything here. Don't play with anything here. Papa, don't play with anything. That hustler on the championship here. Don't spoil the game for us, Papa. We're begging you. Yeah, don't spoil the team here. They don't catch drug, do the us one more thing in the community, catch people and thing.
Yes. Very good. What make it very good? You see, I'm not a brand town and drink it. You free the waste, the journey, to clean the back, to, to active west. People say branda can be used mainly for knocking. That knocking they talk about a war. What branda as a whole, when you take it, what you say, branda knocking at a war. At a war. Most of the children are in the club now, are the branda the children with. Okay. When
The issue about the brown top team is serious, right? And the fact about it is the thing about us not understanding any medical effect that may have, and no proven medical facts according to some scientists, Liberian scientist Dr. Dona, and some medical practitioners saying it's not good for overconsumption. And again, but what do you know about brown tap? A lot of people do have their own experience. Like a colleague of mine was telling me, I took dating, and all it made me to do was to, you know, hair my head. Everyone got their own experience, and think about these herbs. Like the first time I got to know about this was through one of my Peking. He writes back. The man is I call him Pablo the Discoverer. He always discovering things, and he came with this. It never had the tag on it. It just had that brand stuff. He took the tag off, and I saw him drinking that stuff. What is it you drinking, bro? I want to clean my back. My waist, the back. And all of a sudden, this is something that is all on the Liberian market, and a lot of people are going for it. I think it's been sold for 200 or 150. I don't know, but Is it really good for you to take this? Is it really good for overconsumption? Do we have proven facts? What's the essence of taking in a lot of this? I don't even know the real thing. All we know is brand tap, brand tap. And people, if you have conversation with people who have used this, they do have their own experience. They will explain to you the kind of pleasure they get from it. Do you actually think that the government banning this drink on the market, is it a drink, herbal drink? I could say so. On the market could be something like the government, but about 2008, 9, 10, they did with the drip thing. We had a lot of young people schooling that, you know, at that time bought drip into their uniforms pocket on campus and everything. It was turning into something else, and the government stood firm and stopped that process. Do you actually think that is something that is needed to be done? Should brand tap be clear of the Liberian market? That absolutely nobody is going to have access to it. Mind you, it's also the job of the government to protect its citizens. So if this will cause a lot of harm for the Liberian youthful population, it's not just young people. There's a video I was even looking at before coming out. Oh, Papa, oh, yeah. You literally in your 60. What are you even doing with the kind of thing is used for this? What are you doing with brand tap? Interesting, you know. But again, like I said, Wizz TV is going to provide full coverage to the Cortington back to school reunion that starts tomorrow and runs up to the 16th, 2026. So again, the Alumni Association is now back to school reunion in the US, and Wizz TV is going to provide full coverage for that event on tomorrow. Again, let me say thanks to all of you for coming on tonight. And it's been a great pleasure that we've been here in as much as we had some little challenge. But it's been sorted, and at least we had a great time. My name is Willie Bagil. Do have a wonderful weekend. I'm out. Bye bye.
Oh, children have no education. The children have no one to call their friend. The children have no food to eat. Oh, hey, yo. There is no job, no money for hustlers. Raise your hand up.